Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening for this special session. As we prepare ourselves to move into tonight's engagement, we're going to start by centering ourselves. I know for many of you, you have just perhaps come in from a long day's work or put the children aside and carved out some space for you. But let us center ourselves. And what we're going to do that is I'm going to take you through a brief breathing exercise, something that you can take on yourself. It's the exercise that we use each and every morning here at Oasis Spiritual Center for Divine Living. We have a Monday through Friday meditation that starts at 6 a.m. and it usually goes for about 15 minutes. And we start with the breathing exercise. So I want to introduce you all to that tonight. So right where you are, I would like you to look around, make sure you are in a safe space, and believing that you are, position yourself for maximum participation in this brief breathing meditation. Sitting upright in your favorite chair with your feet planted firmly on the floor. And if you would like, you can take your slippers off, your shoes off, and ground yourself inside of your sacred space. Now simply close your eyes and take a big breath in through your nostrils, expanding your lungs to full capacity, and hold the breath. Now exhale through your mouth, releasing, relaxing, all the way down. And as you come to the bottom of the breath, you pause and place a soft, gentle smile on your face to be held throughout the entirety of the breathing exercise. Now let us move into our next breath together. Big breath in through the nostrils, expanding your lungs to full capacity. Hold the breath, allowing every cell, every system, every organ, the entirety of your physical being to be enlightened, to be brought into harmony with the wholeness, the regenerative force inside of you. Now exhale through your mouth, releasing, letting go of that which once served you, but now no longer serves you, all the way down to the bottom. And as you come to the bottom, let us take another big breath in through our nostrils together, expanding our lungs to full capacity. And you hold the breath, allowing it to do what it's been designed to do. Now, release it, relax, exhale through your mouth, all the way down to the bottom of the breath. And when you come to the bottom of the breath, I want you to continue to breathe in and out at your own pace as you follow your breath in, as you hold the breath, as you release the breath, focusing on your breath. And as you focus on your breath, I'm going to take you into this meditative thought. Just continue to breathe in and out. This meditation has to do with believe. What you believe influences the way your life unfolds. While your beliefs cannot make something happen or keep it from happening, they do influence how you live. You are a spiritual being, an expression of Source, God, Yahweh, Amen. You believe that within yourself is the fullness of your divine inheritance. All you could ever need to create your most fulfilling life is inside. When your actions are at odds with what you believe, with your beliefs, you do not despair. Guided by spiritual wisdom and understanding, you simply transform any limiting beliefs and thoughts by denying their power over you. We affirm the divine ideas of our faith and strength, for they flourish in our consciousness and become the beliefs that reflect the truth of my being. Our affirming statement, I'm going to state it once, and then we'll repeat it together 2 times. I believe I can create the life of my dreams. Together. I believe I can create the life of my dreams. I believe I can create the life of my dreams. And so it is. And at your own pace, just begin to bring your eyes open and continue to breathe in a comfortable way. Good evening. I hope you enjoyed that. Breathing is essential to life. Oftentimes, we take for granted that we're breathing properly because we are yet alive. But what we have found, that most of us are breathing improperly. We're breathing shallow breaths from our upper chest. We're not allowing the full breath to come in or to go out. We find ourselves through a large part of our day holding our breath. And so we need to be conscious of our breath throughout the day. Take a break and just be conscious of your breathing. Well, good evening. I'm glad that you have joined us today, and that as you have decided to join us, that you come with a spirit of expectation. On this past week, I taught a message, and the message was entitled, Darkness Precedes Light. And one of the things that I brought to the attention of the participants was that darkness is always being chased by light. Darkness precedes life. Life comes forward out of darkness. And so we began to explore darkness. Seldom do we give thought to this fact that darkness is in the beginning. Before there was dark, there was light, there was darkness. When we study our wisdom books, perhaps whatever your faith may be, if you're one of the Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, Catholicism, or Islam, they all reflect back to the book of Genesis. And there we find in the opening act of Genesis, the words of source or God saying, let there be light, meaning that there was no light, it was darkness. This same cosmological story is predated by the Abrahamic religions. When you study the Memphite theology, or you get the opportunity to step back into the Nile Valley civilization and look at their, what we call cosmological stories, they had what was known as the Neter Nun, N-U-N. It's interesting that we get our word N-O-N from N-U-N, just as well as we get our word nature from the word neter, which is representing of nature. And so we find with Nun represented the zero state, the state of possibility, the state of where all things exist. So in darkness, darkness represents possibility. Darkness represents that which has not come forward. darkness is the place where our imagination starts. So we want to spend some time tonight, since we're drifting into that part of the year where we have the longest night of the year, what we call the solstice. So tonight we're going to explore the solstice. And I'm glad that you have decided to join us. We have a special guest tonight, Akua Auset. She believes that everyone is extraordinary. And as I've had some engagements with her and brief conversations, I can tell that she totally resonates with that. She's often referred to as the Queen of Transformation. She's a holistic beauty advisor with a worldwide following. And tonight, we cordially invite you to participate with us and in her in resetting, aligning, powering down as we prepare for the birthing of the new year. So tonight, we're going to have a conversation around the winter solstice. Good evening, Akua. How are you?
I am well.
Excellent.
I'm actually I'm actually in the dark, and I just wanted to begin with this reading. So if everyone could just continue to breathe deeply, relax your shoulders, relax your jaws, and just close your eyes and consume these words. 4 days will quickly steep themselves in night. 4 nights will quickly dream away the time. And then the moon, like a silver bow, new bent in heaven, shall behold the night of our solemnities. So that is one of the first verses in Shakespeare's play Midnight Summer's Dream, which is actually winter solstice disguised. So thank you, Pastor Greg Assar, for inviting me here to discuss the winter solstice. And let me just see if I can get a little bit more light because it's so dark. Okay, so you can see me a little bit. Okay, yeah, that's a bit better.
And it's appropriate.
Yes.
For the conversation. So many people that I know probably never experience true darkness. Their homes have night lights in them, or they have the screens on their phone powers up and powers down. I know for the most part, I have, for the majority of my life, a vast part of my life, I've always had a light on just in case I have to get up and move through the house. But over the last couple of years, I really try to cut everything off and just enjoy the darkness. Awesome. Good. So how'd you get to this journey to where you are today as it relates to celebrating the solstice? How were you introduced to it?
That's a great question. So my name is Akua Auset. Akua means the sweet messenger. Auset is the name of the most ancient goddess in recorded history. And if you put those two names together, it means the throne goddess who brings the sweet message of resurrection. And I received each name from 2 different sets of mentors and guides. And Auset came into my life through some classes and associations I had with Akua Auset Society many years ago. Maybe it was 2006. So around 2012, I really wanted to prepare because 2012 was like the year that the Aztecs talked about being the end of the world. And so I just knew that 2011 needed to be a profound standing still. And so I actually took a class through the Akua Auset Society with Ra Nefer Amen himself. and he introduced the idea of the winter solstice. So I have done goddess retreats around the solstices, but to actually participate in a very specific observance. And this is what he taught. He taught that during the 4 days and 4 nights of the winter solstice, usually beginning December 21st, 22nd, up until Christmas, Christ must, the gates that separate the outer world from the inner world are flung wide open. And it's a time for receiving the highest spiritual teachings and power according to your degree of preparation. So that is why we prepare. And it's the master time of the year for receiving the greatest spiritual nurturing of your divine self-image, which is the basis for our success and well-being life and beyond. So, a lot of times people make resolutions. I stopped making New Year's resolutions a long time ago, but I really found that winter solstice being the longest night of the year, and I already knew that in the dark is when our melatonin, our melanin in our pineal gland is the most concentrated. And that enables us to be connected to divine information and wisdom. And a lot of artists create in the dark at night. Having a career as a celebrity makeup artist, I was very close to some artists that they kept their homes, their studios dark. So you started, you started this so beautifully, talking about the magic of darkness and where the life comes towards. So I was on with all this when I took his class. And so I followed, and it was the most beautiful experience I'd ever had. And actually, this celebration of Christmas, meant so much more. And, going through the 4 days, like literally, it's like we're bearing ourselves into the soil so that on Christmas, we're the Christ. We're reborn as Christ. So listening to Christmas songs all holy night, singing about the birth of the Christ, like I hear those songs completely differently based on the way that I was taught to observe this. And now it's been 10 years. And I've been leading a community of people through winter solstice preparation and observance. So it's my favorite time of the year.
You started with, so you work with a lot of celebrities, and most of them being creatives. And it's interesting that they know something about the darkness.
Intuitively.
Yeah, right. So did you make that observation, just like fell upon the observation, or did you have like conversations with a number of them that says they use the darkness for a particular reason, or they just find it's time to cut lights, cameras, action off?
No, it was just an observation. And I think the beauty of experience and just time on the planet, you just start putting things together. It's like putting a puzzle together. So it's just something I observed. And then as time went on, I'm like, that's why, a lot of artists are nocturnal, and why he kept, the studio so dark. Like it just over time, you just put puzzle pieces together.
Yeah. So let's start. How would you define solstice?
Well, sol is sun. And so the solstice is actually, so we're in the Northern Hemisphere, and the solstice is the time where the sun comes to an apparent standstill and reverses back. So winter solstice, after the winter solstice, our days will get longer, the nights will get shorter. My friends in Australia, they're actually experiencing summer solstice. So Sol, the sun, is actually decreasing, and the days are decreasing and the nights will get longer. So we're actually on opposite ends. So the beautiful thing about the solstice is that we're closer to summer. So that's what's going on in terms of nature.
So one of the things I was doing little studies, like when the Earth in the northern hemisphere, it's on its, it already is tilted on the axis, and it's at its farthest tilt away from the sun.
Mm.
And then when, like you were saying, on December 24th, 25th, it appears as though the sun is born again, and the days become longer. And it's interesting, you mentioned something that for the vast majority of the audience that follow my community have a history of inside of traditional Christianity. But we have expanded it. My audience, Oasis Spiritual Center for Divine Living. The C stands for Christ consciousness. The C stands for creator. The C stands for consciousness, consciously aware. And so one of the things we found that the scripture says that Christ be birthed in you. And that's so apropos when you understand, you put the pieces together, that birthing of the Christ consciousness in you comes forward in alignment with the natural season. It's a tuning down and then turning up.
Yes.
So that's important.
I like that.
Yeah. So you have the solstice in the northern hemisphere, where we are having the longer night, and we have the solstice in the southern hemisphere at this time, where they have their longest day. And then it's kind of like the yin yang. If you watch the yin yang, it moves, it gets dark, and then it gets light. So everything is moving. Good.
Yes. Yes.
So how did you come to start? So how many years you've been doing your ritual? I could like to call it a ritual because it's something you do and it's sacred and you do it every year. How long have you been doing it?
10 years. 10 years according to Ra'u Nefer men's observance. And then I just kind of took it and made it my own. Actually, I believe I did start in 2012, the winter solstice of 2012. It wasn't 2011. But I wanted to say something also about the Christ. So, funny enough, this is the first time in my life I've ever had a conversation like this with Asar. So you have right here, folks, Asar Auset, who gave birth to Heru. And to me, Heru is hero. And the Greeks took those three and named Asar, Osiris, Auset, Isis, and Heru, Horus. And then the Christians took Isis and Auset and made her Mary, Joseph, Osiris, and Asar, and then Jesus, or Yeshua, Horus, and Heru. So we're literally rebirthing the hero, the Christ within us. So I love that.
And when you look at, we're dealing with the solstices, which is dependent upon the horizon. That's where the term horizon comes from, Horus.
Ooh, I didn't know that. See, I love this.
Right. So, and then all of us are, so we here's what most people don't understand. We're all Auset, Asar, and Heru.
Yes.
And when we learn that, like Auset being also the divine feminine energy that all of us have. Women have it in a little, they're more attuned to it because of their physical makeup. Men has a natural Asar, or divine male energy. But the reality is we have both inside of us, and we have to learn to balance them. And when they work together, they birth the hero, or the Heru. And so when we understand, that's what I like about true Christianity, is comedic in nature. And when you unpack it, you come up with all of these jewels. And for most of you all know, this is really the first time that the two of us have had a in-depth conversation. We just really engaged this year, although I've been following you for quite some time because of the work that you do. So I was following you. And so when one of the members, associates of Oasis, had mentioned that she had an encounter with you, a relationship with you, and then invited you on. And when you showed up on the call, I didn't think it was you until I got into a conversation and said, wait a minute, this is Akua. And so it has evolved from there. So you have mentioned a couple of times Ra Nuffer Amen. One of his books, I hope you can see it there because of my green screen, you can't see it. But he has like a 7-8 volume set called the Metu Netter. And about 2011, I used one of the volumes has the initiation. And during the time of the winter solstice, I went through the initiation, I read, and I created something unique to me. And that's really where I was given the name Asar. Wow. And Asar is, most people think is my name, but it's a title. It represents one who is evolving, the Lord of the Lord of the resurrection. Seeing who is the Lord of the resurrection, according to the Bible, is Jesus. The beautiful thing is when we open our minds to expand from the veiled to the revealed. And that's what this time of the year is about. Getting quiet, going into that veiled place, that hidden place, that dark place that we don't like to go. Like two things: people don't like darkness and they don't like silence. As a therapist, I found it quite funny that when the therapist stopped talking, people start talking because individuals don't like silence. Wow. They can't deal with the silence just as well as they can't deal or have a difficult time dealing with the darkness. So you started 10 years ago. Can you tell us some of the evolution? What went into your sacred time?
The observance. So I'm going to tell you that. But another thing that occurs on winter solstice is that the brightest star, Sirius.
Are you serious?
Right. Sirius, i.e. the star of Auset, is in alignment with the horizon, the sun horizon, the horizon of the sun. So it just continues to expand based on what you said, Horus, star of Auset. Like, it's just an incredible phenomenon that not only the African Kemetic people observe, but also the Mayans, the Incas, the Aztecs,
people of nature.
Yeah, people that live close to nature. So
now check this out.
Oh,
you're talking Christmas songs. We three kings of Orient are. It's really we three kings of Orion. The three stars in the belt of Orion. So very few people know a lot about what we call astrotheology.
Yes.
Just as we have a biblical theology, it mirrors astrotheology. The ancients believed as above, so below.
Yes.
And so if you can understand the below, you understand the above. Mm-hmm. And so, but it's veiled for most of us. So your ritual, your observance, has it changed over the 10 years, or is it pretty much the same the entire 10 years?
I apologize. My little dog is going crazy and I have no idea what's up with her, so I didn't hear you.
Okay.
Can I just one moment so I can let her out?
Go ahead, take care of your dog. Well, good evening, everyone. As we move through this conversation, if you have questions, you can type them into the YouTube channel. I'm looking at that over there. And then all of you who are here with me on the inside of the Zoom room, the chat is live. You can, I believe it's live, yes. You can type any questions that you may have in there. So it's good to see each of you. So my goal this evening is for you to just come away with an expanded understanding of what the winter solstice is. that you don't just experience it as another day, where it's not a day, it's a season. It's a time of the year where you should naturally be bringing things to a halt, getting quiet. So many of us go into the new year with great expectations. We have already created our resolutions, but we're creating the resolutions. We are creating our vision boards. We're creating them from the known realm. We're creating it from what's been televised, what's been telecasted, broadcasted to us. So we find ourselves creating the next year based on what has been imposed on us versus getting quiet. And the first thing you want to do is get quiet and get clear. Now, getting clear doesn't always just mean getting a sense of direction, but it's also a time where you should clear yourself. It's a time of clearing, letting go of things that have holds on you, letting go of the world influences. So when we go into the time of the winter solstice, the time of the solitude, the silence of the energy, it's a time for you to get to the zero state, or to identify with none, the state where all things exist, but nothing is apparent. And so tonight, that's what it's all about, helping you to expand and understand this season so you can begin to live in alignment with it. So welcome back. So
Thank you for your patience. She's all good to go now.
Okay, good deal, good deal. We were talking about your ritual. Has it evolved, or are there key pieces that go inside of your 21 days that have led up to the 21st of December?
Great question. Well, I feel like the very first year, it was very, very specific because there were things going on planetarily. But I basically use the same template from year to year, and it has evolved, but it's pretty much the same observance. And as I have learned about more resources, then I can incorporate them. And so it's basically the same, but just upgraded in terms of quality of products or quality of music. But I have playlists, like it's so specific, being Virgo, it's very thorough. So there are people that can, just do very small part of it. There are people that can just go deep like I do, but it's literally 4-day retreat. And then I've been really good this year to allow enough time for prep so that we can fit in like a 21 or 14-day detox. Because if you're going to be rendezvousing with the divine, you don't want your house to be a mess. You don't want to be, toxic inside. So company's coming. So, we prepare for that. So I would say this year, I probably have prepared more than I've ever prepared, specifically with where we are in the world. This is a really, really important year to just really be on your square. So yeah, to answer your question, it's been upgraded, but not too much, because I literally take the template and just update it for the year.
Good. So when you talk about the house, and you alluded to the house, and the house is our physical temple, our physical bodies, our containers. I believe that man, male, female is made up of, we are physical beings, mental beings, emotional beings, and spiritual beings. When you look at those 4 dimensions of our divine makeup, do you focus on each dimension or any dimension? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, actually, there are 5 areas of detox. So we do a verbal detox, a mental detox, a body detox, a home detox, and then I can't remember the 5th one. But yeah, it's thorough, very thorough, a thorough detox. And even if it's just being mindful about each of the 5 areas.
So,
Yeah.
so do you start like on the 1st of December? Like, I know you're in the midst of it right now. So when did that start?
I started really the day after Thanksgiving, just
Okay.
the preparation. And I think too, because I'm hosting and facilitating a community, I've started a little earlier. But I would say the last couple of days, I've really started to get into my flow with it, because you really want to have, so December 21st, if you did a week physical body detox, that would be starting on the 14th. And so tomorrow will be the 7th. So if you wanted to do 2 weeks. So this week I've begun really with my detox protocol.
Okay. So the detox protocol that you have now, when we talk about detox, I really caution people, because when you are detoxing, your body can have some reactions. And so if you're detoxing by yourself, you can may get yourself in some trouble. So it's always good to have someone who can guide you through different aspects. Like today, this week, I got a full physical this week, and I come to the realization that my container, because I am not my container, but this container houses my sacred self. And in order for my sacred self to really come forward in a unencumbered way, it needs to be in a container that can hold this resonance. So I have made a commitment to look at all the 4 domains that I deal with, particularly to see what adjustments do I need to make in my physical self. Like, it's not what goes into a man that defiles him, but what comes out. And so I have to be very conscious of what's coming out of me. And what's coming out of me is really because what's inside of me. And so we want to, during the solstice, the winter solstice, and you go into your detox, like you said, if they started tomorrow, then they have 14 days. So if they start next week, so people can start planning now for next week to do, because it's just being laid on you right now. You can say, okay, I'm gonna do a 7-day detox. So can you talk a little bit about what that would look like if they just said, okay, I'm gonna do a 7-day detox?
Well, basically, so the things that I'm doing, I mean, it depends on where somebody is and how they're eating. So if you're eating at McDonald's, you're going to start very differently than I start, because as you mentioned, there are detox side effects and symptoms. So my cousin, I had her just drink a gallon of warm water each day. And she's about the weight, it should be half your body's weight in ounces. But because we're wanting to cleanse and not just stay hydrated, I would do your actual body weight in ounces of warm water. Just start there. For me, the change that I'm having is 1 meal a day, and eating as much life as possible. I cut sugar, fried, just eating the best, most pristine living food as possible, because I want to be as electric and high vibration as possible, so that on those 4 days, and I'll share with you what a day looks like, but on those 4 days, I'm just in a receptive mode. Like, I'm literally waiting for messages, downloads, people like to call it.
And what are those 4 days? What numerical days?
December 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and then Christmas you celebrate. So it's 4 days.
Okay, excellent. So one of the things that I really want our audience to hear, sometimes we focus on what we're stopping, and it becomes very difficult because by nature, what we stop, what we lose, we look for, we crave. Well, I tell people to identify just the opposite. What am I going to start doing? Example, you mentioned, I'm going to start drinking more water for that time period. I'm going to start eating electric or live foods. Versus the negative way is, I'm going to stop eating chicken. I'm going to, stop drinking alcohol. So focus on the thing desired, not the thing you're giving up. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's the point I wanted to pull in. Okay. So
no, perfect. And it's definitely the mindset I approach with the people that look to me as their guide, because as someone who I have an Aquarius rising, it's a fixed sign. So the moment you tell me I can't do something, I can't wait to do it. So, right. So the whole idea is, when you just add more life and just add, then your body's not going to want the junk. Like it's almost like you're turning to a different radio station.
Right, the frequency changes, and it's like
McDonald's is on a different radio station. You're not on that radio station anymore.
Right. So change the things you look at. The things you look at change. Little statements we make like that. When you clean your house, it may become messy couple days later, but the day you clean it, you're more conscientious of it. Let me put this where it belongs. Yeah. It's only because of habit that it goes back to being messy. Mm-hmm. We go back to eating the mess because of habit. So I would like to share this. Our brains are wired naturally to keep you alive. Mm-hmm. And if you're eating all these things that don't necessarily represent life, but it keeps you alive, not a maximum, when you go to change that, your brain feels threatened. So you got to rewire your brain. And it takes 3 sets of 21 days, 63 days actually, to be effectively detox or to have your neuroplasticity rewired. So when you look at this first set of 21 days, that if anyone who's been with her since December 1st, and then you come to December 21st, that's 1 set. And if you could duplicate that set another time, and then one last time, you will have amazing outcomes. I'm getting a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, I totally agree. I have a program. In fact, me and Mushamsuit, Rita,
my sister,
met when I was producing 9.5 weeks, and 9.5 weeks is basically 9 weeks, which is the 63 days. And I wanted it to be a 9 complete transformation. So it was 3 sets of 21. However, what occurred to me, I haven't done the research on this, but I suspect that because of this supernatural phenomenon that the winter solstice is, and being in those long nights and the downloads, it's an opportune time to look at shifting habits and things that you've been struggling with changing. So perhaps it wouldn't take those 63 days, because it's such a concentrated.
And you're in sync, right?
Yeah, it's such a concentrated experience. So it's almost like supercharged that time. So if you don't take advantage of this and you try to make New Year's resolutions, it's just like you may do the thing for a week or 2 tops, but like doing it during the winter solstice and actually at sunrise, visualizing what you would like to manifest, and then at sunset, thinking about the things you want to release, like just really being in rhythm with nature, being intentional like that. New Year's is too late.
Yes. And we need to start in the season that it's like a portal is open. Yes. And one of the things I mentioned, that if you're really spending this time in the darkness, and we can talk a little bit about meditation inside this 21 days, you are now listening and you're hearing and you're seeing from the imagined state versus from the imposed state of with your eyes wide open, what the TV is showing you, what the radio is giving to you. So how does meditation fall inside of your 4 days?
Well, great that you asked that. And I just thought about how incredible your workshop is going to be after people go through this, and then to create with you. Like 2023 is going to be a year like they've never had. But meditation, actually, the last since this weekend, I've been sending our community out different meditations and visualizations to get them to get comfortable with really tapping into their intuition and their psychic ability through meditation and visualization, guided meditation. So for those members that are participating, each day they're given another guided meditation to sharpen their ability to visualize and meditate. We're doing sun salutations. Like, it's just so beautiful, the preparation. But yes, meditation, visualization, visioning, it's all part of that daily in the prep.
Yeah. So I dropped the link to the notebook there. So if they open that link, what happens there? What do they find there?
So could probably be better designed, but once you click on that link, it'll lead you to my online notebook, Auset's notebook. And at the very top of the page, it takes a while for it to open. At the top of the page, there's a banner that says Winter Solstice, participate with us, I think it says.
Yes, yes.
And just click on that, put in your name, your email address, and then you'll be led to you'll receive an email that leads you to your first assignment page. So, and I've put them in assignments, and I'm just very conscientious of the fact that most people roll out of the bed and go, 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 go. Like, you know, even though I think in this day and time, people are getting the idea that, you know, if you win the morning, you win the day, having morning rituals, in morning regimens and all that, daily routines. But stress is the #1 health and beauty destroyer. And people, if you don't take that time to intentionally, mindfully start your day, you know, you're going to have a stressful life. So this season is all about giving people the blueprint for really a retreat, a 4-day retreat. So whatever you can do, whether it's just 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, if you don't have the whole day, something. Like, if you don't have 5 to 15 minutes for yourself to just mindfully create your day, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Like, honestly, 5 to 15 minutes at least, do something. So this 4 days, you'll receive a template, a blueprint, and you can choose however you want to incorporate this into your life. And some people may, you know, take baby steps. Other people may dive right in. So wherever you're at, it's perfect. It's just being in alignment with what's going on instead of being completely clueless about this phenomenon happening that, you know.
So if a person has, so when that last week you got Christmas, so a lot of things going on, a lot of people in travel, and this just is their first time really being aware of this. New Year's coming. Can they integrate this into their life as a starting practice? Or is it religiously something, if you don't do it all, you're not getting anything out of it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, so the way that the day breaks down, we have a 24-hour day, and we will be, if you don't turn on lights, and one of the suggestions is that when the sun sets, you set. So, you know, no artificial light, maybe candles. However, that's 15 hours of darkness. So there's plenty of time in that 15 hours to get something in. So even if you were with your family, you know, the standard hours with the artificial lights, at least carve out some time at the beginning and at the end to visualize, think about what it is that you would like to manifest. And then at the sunset or after the sunsets, think about things that you would like to release. And it may be different for everyone. I have a question for you. I know for me, I receive insights, what people call downloads, when I'm cleaning, when I'm bathing, when maybe I'm riding my bike. So some people may be that may be foreign, that you can actually get an insight that feels like it's from, the Most High, a divine insight. But whatever that is for you, you've got to figure out what you need to be doing.
Right. Right.
How is it for you? How do you best get those insights and downloads?
Walking. I walk like I have a unique talent. I can walk and read. I didn't know that everybody couldn't do that. But I walk, I read, and then I stop reading and I get downloads. Wow. I get downloads sitting in silence. I'm alone a lot. I've always been that way my whole life. And I just be in silence. I hear things. I've been introspective my whole life, not realizing this was my design. Yeah, so that's how I get mine. Sometimes I can't, sometimes I can't get anything when it's total silence. So it depends. But I find I get my most fruitful downloads when I go to sleep.
In your dreams?
In my dreams.
Oh, wow, okay.
So there's a scripture for those who follow the wisdom book of the Bible. There's a scripture in Job, I believe it's Job chapter 14, that says, when you are asleep, that source downloads instruction. It says God downloads instructions, directions, and corrections. Now science says when you go through the 4 phases of sleep, when you hit a certain phase, you get downloads. It's the dream state.
Yes.
So sleeping is important. So when I think of darkness, like the solstice giving us a long period of darkness, we don't really sleep it, but it gives you time to be at rest. Because most people never rest. They just go to sleep. And then they never dream because they don't power down. Like you power your phone down.
Yes.
We have to power down. So inside this time of darkness, it's a time for us to rest. You got anything to say about rest?
Well, one of the things that you said earlier, and I completely agree, I'm not surprised we have so much in common, but I would say you don't just abruptly go to bed. Like you prepare to ease into that, because if you make any abrupt changes in your diet or anything, your body's going to register that as stress, fight or flight, threat. So I actually have an alert set on my phone, time to prepare for bed. So then I have like an evening ritual to ease into that.
Pop back on me here. Where'd it go? I can't find where it's at. Where that's coming from. 1 second here. That's interesting. Where is that coming from? Let me see if I can find it.
Nice music.
Is it someone else? Someone else? Where is that coming from? coming from? It sounds as though someone has something on. Let me see something. We are. Well, let me see if I can just turn down. That's everything is off there. I think I found it. I don't know where that's coming from. Okay, there it is.
Oh, there you
Can you
go.
hear me? Awesome. I don't know. Wow. Okay, good. All right, great. I'm sorry. Where did we leave off?
I'm not sure.
Or where do we need to go? So here's what. So we are moving into the 21st is the actual solstice. So the 4 days you're preparing everyone. This season we're being prepared for that. So what happens on the 21st, 22nd? Do we come together as a community on like a YouTube platform, or how does that? How does it work?
Well, I definitely have a calendar. Well, as a community, people are receiving emails every day with
Mhm.
prompts. Like we were talking about easing into your evening and rest. That's what we were talking about. And so rest is connected to your longevity. So the fact that we're going to go into hibernation really for at least 4 days, there's a level of rest that you get, not even being asleep, but just standing still and being and soaking in all of the melanin and the electricity and the just vibing up. But you're getting good quality rest just as part of your life, as part of your longevity. You know, these silly people that say, oh, you know, I can sleep when I'm dead. It's just like, well, you're going to get there a lot sooner. You know, so rest is very, very important in terms of being peaceful. You know, Ron Nefermen says that our natural state is that of peace. And I asked you about this, but I've been looking at observing the Sabbath. And, you know, one of the charges is that 6 days you create, the seventh day you rest. And for those, you know, those that practice Sabbath, it's a very, very big deal. And I think that it's a law of nature. And when we violate the law of rest, we will pay.
Mhm, mhm.
If you violate the law of rest, you will pay. Because it's just like if you had an employer that wanted to work you 7 days a week and you never got to rest, like eventually you're going to deteriorate. You're going to be stressed out. You're not going to, you know, be nourished, you know, in ways that you need to be nourished. So rest is very important. So this 4 days is really important to come to a standstill if you can. Like if people could literally take a 4-day retreat from life, turn everything off. Like you can't hear the voice of God if you've got constantly the TV on, if you constantly have music going. So, you know, I'm going to be radical and say, just figure out a way to take this 4-day retreat. I promise you, you will never be the same. I have manifested houses and amazing things from the 4 days, just the insights that you get. And each day we literally keep a notebook of the insights that come. It's almost like we're in a huddle and we're getting the plays from the coach, and we write down the plays. Like you were saying, you said instruction,
direction,
yeah.
clarity, and you get correction.
Yes. So we take those notes and they're so clear, but you've got to set the environment, making sure you're rested. And I give myself 2 hours to wind down before bed. I take a couple hours to wake up. I don't wake up to an alarm clock. Like, I wake when I'm finished sleeping. Like, I think it's abusive to wake up to an alarm clock every day. Like, why not finish sleeping, go to bed at the hour where you know that you're gonna get enough rest. So it's just this rat race, this erratic lifestyle that we know in the West. It's outside of what we naturally should be, how we should be living. So
why do you think people don't rest? What have you given that any thought?
Well, I think most of us are concerned with survival. And,
we don't trust that the universe is working on our behalf. We feel like we always have to be doing something to help the universe out.
Yeah,
because we think labor is part of it. But the scriptures tell us labor not to get wealth. And most times people get seeking wealth in order that they may get things. So the way to get the things is not by laboring to get wealth, but by manifesting.
Oof.
And a big part of manifesting is sleeping, is resting, is getting clear and using your imagination.
Yes, I love it. Yes. Like, it's time to step outside of the slave culture.
Like the Matrix, the slave culture, right.
And be creators and be ye are gods, small g. Mm-hmm. So I was just having a discussion. I was attending something today and just talking about the fact ye are gods. I'm like, oh, I am the ye. Ye are gods and gods create. So that's another reason to tap in, to remember, to stand still and remember. I don't need to worry about these things. I can create and manifest.
And then part of the remembering is Asar. When we know the story of Asar, he was dismembered. And what happens when we are birthed, we are dismembered from our spiritual essence to come into this physical essence. And we have to remember. We have to remember who we are. We're divine spiritual beings coming here to have a human expression. And we should be using our divineness to have a divine expression of life. Yes. Labor not. You don't have to work, toil by the sweat of your brow. We have to learn to use our imagination. So for me, the time of darkness is a time for me to exercise that faculty, the imagining faculty. For those who don't know, John, the book of John says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and that all things that were created came from the Word of God. But here's another way of looking at that. In the beginning was the imagination, and all things were created by the imagination. There's not a thing that exists today that didn't come from the imaginative state. The first airplane, somebody imagined flying it. When someone go to buy a garment, you imagine what you want to look like. That's how you know what to pick. If you're putting makeup on someone, you imagine, you image it, and you bring it forth. So we need that dark space. We need that dark space.
I love the dark space. I love it.
So as we prepare to wrap up, what would you say some of the benefits that others who have gone through in your community this 4 days, what have been some of the things they come away with?
Power, feeling connected once again, feeling like themselves again, rest, just it's almost like being pushed through the finish line of winning, like in the new year. It's just like
Coasting into the new year.
I mean, just it's like if all your best friends, all the ancestors were just pushing you to get through that finish line to win, you know? Yeah, it's hard to put in words. It's just people winning. Any goals that you have, like this is just the way to just 1,000x your results. Like if this were just about practicality, just hard, cold keeping score, just try it. Just try it.
Right. A big win is, the scripture says, be still and know. The word know is a word of intimacy. Adam knew Eve. So when you know something, that means you're intimate with it. And so if we can get still, get quiet, and become intimate into me, into yourself,
yes.
How much more powerful will you be? So I want to open up for some questions. So if you're with us this evening and something has went off inside of you, you got a burning question, you could either, if you don't want to pose the question, you could text it to me for those who have my number, or you can just raise your hand. What did you get tonight? What did you come away with? Is there any questions? Any clarity was gained through this? Any commitments that you have that you have going to come away with?
And if I could, let me just give everyone a little game. You know, you mentioned me working with celebrities. When I worked as a celebrity makeup artist in Hollywood, like I observed how Michael Jordan, Kobe, they didn't roll out of bed and win championships. No, they didn't just roll out of bed to win championships. They had pre-game rituals. They had established habits or things that they did on a daily basis before hitting the court. So, you know, if you want to use that analogy, every day we wake up and place our feet on the ground, we're on the court of life. Yeah. So how do you expect to win championships in life without a pre-game ritual? So this winter solstice observance is like taking 4 days of pre-game rituals for a new year.
That's important. Michael Jordan, I'm a big fan of Michael Jordan. He won playoff game, he shot free throws with his eyes closed. Only reason he could do that because he used to shoot free throws all the time with his eyes closed. The power of a closed eye. The word says, if your eye be single, wow. If you could see what you want to see, it can be. There's the possibility in learning how to do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good. I believe people are soaking this up like a sponge. I did have a quiet audience tonight. Let me see here. I can't see what's going on the YouTube channel. I can see some people out there, but I don't see any activity over there. over here in our chat room tonight. Anybody got any questions? Let's bring them forward. What you walking away with tonight? Anybody? Can I get two people to just come on and say, what did you get? You came here for a reason. Did you get something out of it tonight? And in what way may it change your life? Okay, so one of the things I'm going to do, I have dropped the link. If you're interested in participating, there's the link is there. You can open that link. It'll take you, one will take you to the email that I crafted, and it takes you there. There's another link that takes you directly to the notebook. And remember to go to the top of the notebook, and you will see the clock rolling that says you have 14 days. And go from there. Pam says, I am just speechless. I've learned so much. Welcome to Oasis Spiritual Center for Divine Living. It's about expanding what you know. You don't grow until you expand what you know. And sometimes expanding what you know challenges what you think you know. Tawanda Lee says, I love that 4-day retreat. I am already imagining what that's going to feel like. A great start to the new year. Wonderful conversation tonight. Queen Kaya says, I have been observing the practice since 2009 because of studying astrotheology. We're going to have a conversation. One of these Monday nights, we're going to deal with astrotheology. It's so fascinating. So fascinating. Excellent. Good. So we know. So you share with us tonight, and you kind of touched on it. Your gift to mankind is you are. Are you still a practicing makeup artist?
From time to time. When people call me, if I'm available, I will do it. But I am just so interested in assisting people with their wellness. And even before, just interested in beauty through wellness.
Okay.
I'm just now completing an herbalist certification, as well as I'm a French intensive aromatherapy practitioner and in school to become a naturopathic doctor. So I'm just really interested in wellness and shining and being beautiful because you're taking really good care of yourself. So my gift is helping people to create blueprints, daily rituals to just incorporate all the things you need to do to stay as healthy and beautiful as possible. So
we would love to have you come back and talk about, carve out one of those like aromatherapy or skin beauty, because the vast majority of our body is our skin. And we can talk about skincare, men and women, all of us. Pam says, my birthday was yesterday. Happy solar return. It says, ever since I have just been quiet, taking life in. Now I know why I have been feeling to be still and not being so busy. Wow. So that's affirming for you. So we want to say happy solar return to you in this season, as things shut down, close down, as you prepare for your next grand appearance throughout this year. Awesome. Well, what I like to do, I believe in the law of circulation. I believe in blessing those who have blessed us. So what I am going to do, I'm going to drop the link. Auset did not ask me to do this, but I'm going to do it. Instead of people sometimes people send things to me to get to other people. I'm going to drop in the link to your Cash App. Auset $AAUSET. So if anybody want to be a blessing, not because there's a need, not because agree, but because we know if you find value in someone, you let them know. So if you want to be a blessing tonight to Sister Auset, there's the link for you to do that. I encourage you to go to our website. Once you go over to that page, the notebook, you can poke around, reach out to her, particularly those of you women who are looking to really get your skin together, get your health together. I'm going to have a conversation with her as a, did you say you're herbalist or nutritionist or?
Yes, I've been using herbs for decades,
Like
but
this herb,
no,
herb.
no, 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 no,
Oh,
no, no,
oh,
no.
okay.
Like lemongrass and
Okay,
rosemary
okay.
and moringa. No,
Right.
so I'm putting a ring on it and actually getting certified, and just just this is a time people are really reaching for, being plant-based. There's a scripture, the leaves on the trees are for the healing of the nations. So, I trust what the creator has made for us in terms of healing and
Yes,
nourishment. So
yes.
I'm going deeper on my knowledge of that. And a lot of our detox protocols are made from plants and leaves and herbs and that. So
Yeah, so I went to the doctor and I had my checkup, and the doctor said that my container, that my physical form has these things or showing up these things, and the first thing she wanted to do is prescribe medication. I said, nope. I said, I'm going to take a holistic approach to it. I know the power of the mind. I know the power of the food. And so I don't need the pill. So I'm going to do it. And she just looked at me. But I decided I've come this far, 62, and I'm not through. So when I get 63, I'm going to be all me. So I'm moving in that direction. Okay, let me see if I see anything else there tonight. If this ministry has been a blessing to you and you want to know more about Oasis Spiritual Center, you can go to www.oasisspiritualcenter.com. I am Arsar. I didn't tell you that early on, also known as Greg. You can call me Greg, you can call me Arsar. It's all about relationship. So visit the website, poke around, find out how we get down, what we're about. It's not a church. It's a spiritual community where we are expanding no matter where you come in from, whatever your belief systems, we resonate with universal truths. Well, I want to thank you tonight, Akua, for your time.
thank you.
It's been well spent, well received, and we look forward to having you come on sometime next month. And we'll have a topic that deals with going into the new year refreshed and not bogging ourselves down again. So I look forward to that.
Thank you so
Awesome. We're
much.
gonna leave tonight with just knowing that serendipity means something good, unexpected. As you lay your heads to your pillows tonight, do something different. Cut everything off and just listen to the night and watch what happens. Cheryl says, excellent teaching. Good. Thank you, Cheryl. All right. Well, you guys, I was looking to see if I had anything else. Happy Earth Day, Pam. All right. Happy solar return. Peace. Thank you, my dear sister.
Thank
Auset.
you,
Take care.
Asar.
All right. Peace. Take care now. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you all for your time.
Yeah.